What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about OnyxCoin yet again today, XCN USD. Hit that like button, subscribe, and thank you all for being here. It is the 28th day of April. Here we are, coming to the end of this month. And I really think if we pretend in our heads that this wick doesn't exist, this is actually a pretty nice candle, right? Moving up here. Obviously, don't do that. There's a wick there for a reason. We moved all the way up and then sold off. The reason why there's such a big wick, really, I think, is because a lot of volume came in. Right, it's a lot, relatively speaking. It's really not that much volume, but some volume came in, and there's not a whole lot of volume being traded in this range, so you have an easy time moving the price. It just regulated back down to what the appropriate level is. I don't know if this is as dramatic of a wick as it might seem like, but we're used to these wicks. We're used to these big wicks as they happen and pulling back down. The thing that we don't want to see is a move all the way back down. It's okay that we've wicked here, but if we move all the way back down, it really just makes this move completely insignificant, really is what it does. It's just a moment of excitement, and that's great and all, but it makes it completely insignificant. If it, like a move like this is not completely insignificant, even though you did come all the way back down. A move like this is not, but if it's like a day or two afterwards, if we're seeing something like this, that's insignificant. We see something like this, that's insignificant. So again, holding this area as support where we are now, I think, is instrumental in defining if this move has significance or if it's just bupkis that brings us back here and then we move lower. I do think, from here, we obviously took the more bullish perspective. We were prepared for the downside as well, but we took the more bullish perspective. I think after making a move like this and then coming back down, the bearish perspective might be easier to perceive. People are a little bit more defeated. There might be more people who are willing to just get out, right? Bitcoin's going to be dropping, all these things, whatever. That might induce selling pressure, but I digress. Let's get into the short-term stuff. I'll show you guys what I'm looking at, what I want to see. Primarily what I want to see is that we hold this area for support. I think that would be awesome. I don't care that we wicked back down. I don't care that we pumped 80% and in the same day dumped 35%. I don't care. I really don't care that much. We've been through worse. All I care is that we're holding prior resistance for support, closing resistance there, closing resistance here, closing support here. That's what I care about, and I hope we do that. A little bit of significance here as well. If we look at this on a 1 hour time frame, let's do that. Yeah. Wow. Hold on. Maybe I'll do a daily time frame again, because it's just so hard to determine which one to take the low from a low to a high. We are right in the pocket of our golden ratio. We're right there. Now, here's some things that I don't like. Here's the shit I don't like. Looking at the 0.5 to 382 rejection, back down, that's bearish structure, guys. Bearish structure. To your 0.5 and then coming down, that's bearish structure. Finding resistance at your golden ratio now, that's bearish structure. However, bearish structure, and we're not going lower yet. We might right here be showing our hand, and that hand might be implying, hey, some more upside. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor, and this will set the haters up for a whirlwind of this doesn't make sense. You clearly are biased for this coin. I'm just looking at the charts, man. I'm looking at the charts. I probably have a bias for this coin. I'm not an idiot. I'm human. But let's be honest. Okay, let's just be honest. This is what's happening. You're in the golden ratio zone. It's a great area to find support. You're at prior areas of resistance. You're at prior areas of resistance. It's a great area to find support. As you moved up, you had insane volume come in. And as you've moved lower, your volume has died off, depleting entirely. And now you're moving sideways while you're in the golden pocket. If volume comes in and starts to increase, it doesn't have to be bigger than this. Do that. Give us a bigger move. Let's go. I'm about it. I'm sure you are too. But if volume comes in from here and it starts to build, we will be moving up. That's not because of my bias. My bias is not that powerful. If it was that powerful, we'd be at $4 by now, okay? It's not that powerful. You're giving me too much credit. My bias in the technicals is that, moving down without volume, I don't care what I was looking at. If I'm looking at this, I would actually be bullish here. Now, same thing to the downside. even though we're moving sideways, and even though, yes, we're kind of breaking out of this downward sloping trend, this relative 1 hour, very insignificant trend, so who really cares at the end of the day? But even though we are doing that, if we move down and volume starts to pick up a little bit, it doesn't have to be bigger than the volume that we saw here. It doesn't have to be bigger than that. But if it's just picking up a little bit as we're moving down, we will likely go to the 786 or the 886. This could take us back to 0053, 00495. Sorry. And if we close below the 886, we close below there on a 1 hour or 4 hour basis, we likely will go below these lows. And that's not my bias either. That's just technical analysis, guys. So quite simply put, what we want to see here, if you're bullish like I am, and I am bullish, shifting to that side, 0059, we want to close not just one candle, but 2 candles in a row, back to back. We want to close 2 candles above 0059. And it's not too much to ask for a little bit of increase in volume. Ideally, something that's bigger than these levels here. It doesn't necessarily have to be bigger than these levels. It certainly doesn't have to be bigger than this level of volume over here, okay? We don't have to see something bigger than that, but bigger than what we've seen here. I want to see some increase, some notable increase while we're moving up. And I don't want it to be in the form of a wick. I want it to be in the form of a move that is either methodical in nature or eruptive in nature, whatever it is. And at the end of the day, my friends, if we can get above 0059, the next target to focus on, from getting above here, this is the immediate target. The next target to focus on is the 236, which is 00747. If we close above 00747, hold on to your whatever you can hold on to. If we get above 00747, then this was a low. This was not a high. It was a relative high, to be fair, but that would likely, if we get above 00747, that likely implies that we're going to 00973 to 0113. We're getting rid of a 0. And being that this is a kind of small fib extension in itself, we could have access to the secondary fib targets, which is all the way up at 1.27 to 1.74. And if we hit the money zone, that takes us right around 2 cents, which we have plenty of targets for that on the daily time frame. We're just on the 1 hour. We're going to build our way out. But let's look at the indicators first. RSI has cooled off. It's come down. Technically, it looks bullish overall. Neutral right here. Okay. Stochastics are showing a little bit of bullish divergence, and we're starting to pop up a little bit. I mean, it kind of looks good, but overall bearish, technically. The MACD right here at the 0, dying off in bearish momentum. I can't help but be bullish with the MACD. This is just the 1 hour time frame though, so let's not get ahead of ourselves. Okay. 4 hour time frame. Looking at this on the RSI, it looks good to me, man. That don't look half bad. That doesn't look half bad at all. I like it. And again, the thought here is you don't just see these standalone moments and then you get oversold and you die. Hopefully. You would get multiple readings. Maybe you form some bearish divergence, and then from that bearish divergence, you're seeing prices that are doing, this. You're moving up. People are calling for bearish divergence. You're moving up again, and boom, before we know it, we're at 2 cents before May 1st or on May 1st. It could happen that fast, guys. We know this thing moves fast whenever it likes to move, in case you weren't around for yesterday's price action. The stochastics are decent here. Reset enough where you can move up for sure. I still don't know how they didn't get overbought here. I don't know what I'm missing. Like how is a 44% move? What am I missing? Dude, maybe I just don't understand how they work. Like this move here, this 3% move, sent it, bro. And I don't get it. I think this move literally broke the indicator. The MACD is getting to a point where we're about to touch tips, and whenever we do that, we typically do bounce in bullish scenarios. Not that we're in a bullish scenario, but if we want to be, we could be. And also, sometimes with this tip touching of the oscillators, sometimes you get a false cross. That's basically the same thing, it's just you crossed a little bit below. Tip touch there, you crossed a little bit below, tip touch there, boom, you moved up. And that's fine. That's fine if we do that. I think if we just stayed here and moved sideways, this would cross to the down. I know it would. I know it would cross a little bit red. I'm okay with that. What I wouldn't want to see, again, What was that fib level that we gave it? I mean, really, I just wouldn't want to see you close any 4-hour period or daily time frame below 0.00562. Close above 0.059. Do not close above 0.056. We'll say 5.6. Yeah, we'll round down. 5.6. Do close above 0.0747. Do that, please. But first things first, 0.059, get back above there. We do that on a multi-hour basis or a 4-hour basis. I do expect that we're going to make a run. The thought is, though, we get above here, don't start thinking automatically that means we're getting above this high. It's a process. You get above here, that opens the gates up to this zone. We reject this zone, we come back down, bad. We reject this zone, we come back down, bad. We reject this zone, we come back down, bad. Right? Any of those come back to the golden ratio, that's all bad because it likely would imply lower. We can bounce from here once. The second time is typically not that friendly. If we come up here and we reject and we find support here, potentially good. Doesn't necessarily mean it is good, but potentially good. We move all the way up to the 236 immediately, come back down to the 0.5, and we hold support there, and then we move back up. Potentially good. But it's definitely good when we get above the 236. Absolutely it is. And I want to see if there's anything to come into conjecture with this here from a high to a low. It's the 0.5 area. That's great. Yeah. And what's nice about this, again, thinking about breaking above the 236, the 0.5 area. Okay. If this implies what I think it means, breaking above the 236 on that fib there would imply that we go above this high. It makes all the sense in the world because now we're flipping the script. Now you hit the golden ratio once. If we hold support at the 236 and we don't close below this level and we come back up here, remember how before it was like if you hit the 236, you come back down to the golden ratio, that's bad, we're going to go lower. Well, if you come down to the 236, you reject, and you come back up to the golden ratio, that's good, we're going to go higher. We're going to go higher. Daily RSI, technically at a point to bounce, but we've come up and come down, come up and come down before. Not fun. Stochastics don't have me wooed at all. The MACD is interesting here, but we've seen a semi-interesting MACD recently in March, and it didn't really do much for us. So let's just wait and see. It is exciting. The thing that's the least exciting right now is that Bitcoin looks like this. Bitcoin looks like it wants to move down. It's nice that you finally showed up to party OnyxCoin, but it looks like the party is getting shut down. So before we all get too excited, let's hold on to our hats a little bit. There's reasons to expect the upside, but we need validation first. Validation comes in the form of getting above 0.059 on a 4-hour or multi-1-hour closing basis, and then ultimately getting above 0.047 or 747. Getting above 0.0747. If we can do that, then we're going to be really excited, man. Really excited. Until then, it's completely possible. We're just doing some stuff that we've been doing for a long time now. And hopefully that's not the case, but we'll see. Time will tell. I have a feeling we're going to know within the next 24 hours by the next time we make a video. So I'm going to end the video there. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.